Hello, and welcome to In Touch with Durham County. My name is Dudley, Senior Public Information Specialist, and my co-host is Chair of the Board of Commissioners, Wendy Jacobs.
Thank you, Dawn. We use this show to share vital information about the wonderful programs and services provided by Durham County government.
Recently, we discussed the current opioid epidemic on In Touch. Thoughtful conversations about prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation are becoming more frequent as we face what is considered the deadliest drug crisis in America. Among discussions is what happens when chemically dependent individuals collide with the criminal justice system. Durham County has successfully operated a drug treatment court for more than 20 years. Today, we welcome Judge Fred Battaglia and special guest Kenneth Helms to give insight on how these courts help to break the cycle of addiction and promote law-abiding behaviors. On our second segment, we will be joined by Mental Health Court Diversion Program Coordinator Renee and Behavioral Urgent Health Care Clinic Director Marissa Holsten to discuss mental health resources in Durham. Chair Jacobs, let's begin our conversation.
Thank you, Dawn, and Judge Battaglia and Kenneth. Thank you so much for being with us here today. We appreciate you being a part of this program. And so it's a common knowledge that a lot of people who end up interfacing with the criminal justice system have substance abuse problems. And so tell us, what is drug treatment court and how is it different than a traditional court?
The statistics tell us that 80% of the people that are charged with crimes suffer from some illicit drug use or alcohol use and a combination of both to the point that it impairs their judgments. And so what the purpose of drug treatment court is multifunctional. One is to get the individual to stop using drugs and alcohol and to make them a productive member of society. And so those are the goals. The methodology and how to get there is someone has been charged with a criminal offense, they've been convicted, they've been placed on probation, and their probation is going to be violated, which means they'll either go to the North Carolina Department of Corrections or some other point. And so at that point, the incentive for the individual is to be compliant with drug treatment court so that they don't enter the North Carolina Department of Corrections. We're working on a program now that would include when someone is originally charged with a crime to allow them to come into drug treatment court so that they would, at the end of it, then their charges would be dismissed. Obviously, it's not every charge, but the reason we're working towards that goal is because we want individuals, it's the same drug addiction, whether it happens originally and they're in probation or whether they're just charged. So it's more important for someone who's just been charged, I think, because of the addiction issue. And so when their charge is dismissed, they can be expunged and not, they don't have to check the box for employment purposes. And so those are the goals of drug treatment court, and also to be restorative to the families. A lot of people, when they're in a drug addiction, they have problems with their family and cuts off ties, and so it's restorative. And I know you've been to drug treatment graduations and you've seen the restorative aspects on a family. From a cost perspective on Durham and Durham citizens, the statistics tell us that for every dollar that's spent, the return to the community is between $2 and $4. So the range would be between $3,000 and $22,000 per participant. And that's a measurement of people not committing other crimes and working. And so the majority of our folks in drug treatment court work while they're in drug treatment court. And so we also face a major problem of housing. And so I'll leave it there because I could talk for a while.
Well, so as you mentioned, I'm a huge fan of drug treatment court, and I've been to as many of the graduations as possible, and I happen to have been at Kenneth's graduation. And so, it fits with what Durham County is trying to do, which is invest in the people in our community who are our most valuable asset and try to recognize that there are other issues at play when there might be a criminal offense involved and to deal with that issue. And maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about just, how long the program is and just, how it works. I know it's a huge team effort with lots of people involved, and just how it all works.
We have a prosecutor, we have someone from the public defender's office, we have a coordinator that is employed by the county, Kamisha Falana. We have multidisciplines from the sheriff's department and from providers. And so the thought process is with the opioid addiction, which you've talked about, the first part is for some to try to get them detox, to try to get them off of drugs. And so Durham does have a volunteer center that they can go to volunteering, or they have to enter the jail. And so we have to get someone detox before they can start. And so it's a combination of going to meetings, AA meetings, NA meetings, and going to treatment providers for group counseling. And so they're drug tested regularly, at least once a week, and sometimes more. And so there's rewards and punishments, and we call them sanctions. And they're not punishment, they are sanctions that range from writing an essay, more treatment, community service, the STAR program in the jail, a quick dip on the weekend, or we do have long-term facilities that we're allowed to use, and that's DART, Cherry in Goldsboro, and Black Mountain. DART is for the men, Black Mountain is for the women. Those are 90-day treatments. People stay with us for a minimum of 12 months. We like 12 to 18 months is probably the range, with the thought process that the question becomes, how long do they stay off of drugs and alcohol? And the statistics tell us between 3 and 14 years. And so when you can reduce crime by fourfold in our society, breaking and enterings and things like that, it's very important. Drug courts work, and I'm so proud to be the judge in drug treatment court. And Kenneth is, I'm humbled to be sitting next to him because he's worked so hard and his life has turned around, and we're so proud of him.
It'll be great to hear from Kenneth.
Yeah, we definitely look forward to hearing from you, Kenneth. And clearly, you believe the program works, and like any program, there are imperfections. And I'm curious to hear, what are some of the challenges you're faced with in resolving the structural issues or whatever issues are present with the program?
The individual in drug treatment court has to come to court every other week. If they don't come to court, there's an order for arrest issued and a secured bond, and the secured bond is $150,000. So they have an incentive to come to court. What happens in court is we review the past 2 weeks to project where they're going. It's very important for there to be daily activities that they encompass, but it's also important to have interactions with the court. Because I do operate as a judge in drug treatment court and have the same powers. But when I put someone in jail, it is it's to help them. It's not punishment, and that's the big difference in drug treatment court. I'm proud to be the judge in drug treatment court to assist people. We've had some of the participants give birth while they've been in drug treatment court, and we've had a number of great issues. I think the biggest challenge for me, and why I take it seriously when we're in court, is because I don't know if that individual is going to be there next time we're in court. In North Carolina, we have 3 people a day that successfully overdose, and Durham has had overdoses, and so I worry about whether I'm going to see them or not. And so that's what opiates have done to our society. We're wiping out a generation of our people.
Well, that perspective is really important to talk about, and why we want to definitely hear from you, Kenneth. Can you share with us how the drug treatment court has affected you?
Well, I'd like to get straight to the point. That's the type of individual that I am. It really saved my life. I fell long ago using heroin, opiates, and this program wasn't there for me at the beginning. It's a blessing now that it is, that I got a chance to get into this program, that I got a chance to get to know the drug court team, because they was there for me. It truly became a family of mine, supported me. The quick dip you know, some of us need a quick dip. It's like the judge was saying, it's not about punishment. It's really thinking time. Give you a chance to think about what you really need to do with yourself, what you need to do about yourself. And I really needed that. Now, you know, it gives me the strength to fight for my recovery each and every day, which I stay connected with the judge and the drug coordinator, Commissioner. They truly have became a part of my family, you know, and they give me strength. You know, by giving me strength, I can give someone else strength. It's truly not about me now. We have a lot of younger people that's falling to this disease, and you have to stop somewhere. And I like to be there with them to help stop this thing. I know a lot about it. I know a lot about how to really stop it. And all I'm just, you know, I want a chance to share my experience, you know, and maybe I can help another person with my experience.
Absolutely.
Well, the goal is long-term sobriety. Have you been able to remain sober since?
Yes, yeah.
He graduated 362 days, I believe it was. He had sobriety. He graduated September 17th?
22nd.
September the 22nd of 2017. And so how you been doing since then? Tell them about what you've been doing, what your life is like.
Well, staying clean. Like I said, I stay connected. Keeping your sobriety, you have to stay connected, you know. And that's what I do. I get on the telephone and I stay in contact with Commissioner Fulano. She truly being there for me. She's a very great person. And I visit. I go, still do the classes with certain individuals like Miss Trudy, she's part of the team. And I go on Thursdays, do classes with her, even though I don't have to be there, but I have to stay connected, and I like to be there for other people the same way they was there for me.
They connect with services too. It's important that they reach a point where they can connect with services, whether disability or housing or whatever, that they can connect with services. And that's a very important part of drug treatment court, because someone who's in recovery, once they reach a point, you know, sometimes housing becomes the number one issue. And so it takes time to get into housing. But the other part of drug treatment court, it connects the individual with the services that they need. And it's very important to stop the cycle. The cycle.
Well, I hate to say we're already out of time. Kenneth, thank you so much for sharing your story and for continuing to be a part of this program. We need you. We need you as a peer support, as a mentor to make this a success. It takes all of us. Thank you, Judge Battaglia, for your role. And Durham County is proud to support this program.
Thank you
so much for
thank
being
you for
here.
having us. And
My pleasure.
May is National Drug Court Month, and so if you ever want to come to a graduation, come on down. We'd love to have you.
And so can you tell us when the graduations are? So
I asked that question. I think we're going to have one in June, but I'm not sure on the date, but we'll get it to everybody.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
All right.
Thank you again. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll discuss mental health resources in Durham.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back. We are now joined by Durham County Mental Health Court Diversion Program Coordinator Renee Shaw and Behavioral Health Urgent Care Clinic Director Marissa Holsten to discuss mental health resources in Durham. Commissioner Jacobs, let's continue our show.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We are back to discussing issues related to our criminal justice system, but this time we are talking about mental health specifically. And Renee, can you tell us about the new mental health court diversion program and tell us a little bit about this brand new program that we're doing in Durham County?
Yes, the mental health court diversion program offers individuals who's involved in the criminal justice system with an opportunity to engage in mental health treatment instead of going through the adjudication process. These individuals will work with both the judicial system and the community mental health treatment system as far as getting treatment together to be successful in the community.
Now, this is a new program. I actually had the honor of being at the first graduation, which was really exciting. And I know this program, whereas the drug court program is open to juveniles, this one is only for adults 18 and older. Are there any other differences or requirements related to this program versus the drug court program? And you can tell us that.
Individuals involved in the mental health court diversion program have to be a Durham County resident. They have to be able to comply with the treatment recommendations and understand the process. They also have to be able to engage in the court sessions once a month.
So helping individuals with severe mental illness get the most support and services they need are your main priority, correct?
Correct.
So can you give us an idea of what your major goals are for the program?
Our major goal is to get the individuals connected to treatment. We'll connect them to different things like medication-assisted treatment, outpatient therapy, inpatient therapy such as RJ Blackley. We'll just do referrals to the agency. The goal is to get the individual connected to service and be a productive citizen.
So that's basically what they can expect from the program.
Absolutely.
Are there any other portions of the program that they can look forward to?
Well, just interacting with the criminal justice system and the community providers with getting everything that they need as far as like case management services. We can help them with something as simple as housing, something as just simple as, I want to exercise to help relieve some of the stress, getting them connected with things like the YMCA, just different community resources within Durham County.
So these types of resources, not anything to help people, but these things sometimes fall short. Resources can be sometimes hard to come by, and there may be a wait list. How do you address wait lists that you may have for the program?
For individuals that are placed on the wait list, what they'll do is I'll provide the service for them as a licensed professional counselor until the service that they need becomes available. It's like I'm the connecting factor for them until they can get exactly what they do need.
That's great.
Well, thanks for telling us about this great new program, Renee. And Marissa, the program that you're involved with, the Urgent Care Behavioral Health Program, this is mental health. May is Mental Health Month, and can you tell us about the services that you all are offering to people in this new program that we have?
Yes, so it's a pilot service funded by Alliance Behavioral Health Care for eligible individuals with primary behavioral health needs. So we do that through crisis counseling, safety assessments, medication bridges, which would be prescribing a medication that an individual might be running out of before their next scheduled appointment, and referrals to ongoing mental health care.
And, we know that this program can help keep people out of the emergency room. It can help keep people out of our jails. When they're in crisis, what are your goals for this program?
So our primary goal was to reduce emergency department admissions, but we really strive to make the proper connections so that individuals can sustain in ongoing community-based care.
And of course, you can help then connect people when they come into some of those resources.
Absolutely.
Who is eligible for the behavioral health urgent care? I mean, who can, do you have to pay anything? Do you have to make an appointment? How does it all work?
So because we're an alliance program, right now we can only serve those who have Medicaid through Alliance or who are uninsured and reside in the Alliance catchment area. So that would be Durham, Wake, Cumberland, Johnson County. And for those that are uninsured, they do have to meet an eligibility guideline, but that would mean if they make less than $35,000 a year, we are a free service, and that includes the Medicaid population.
Wow.
We can serve those with private insurance, but it is a $440 out-of-pocket fee, which could seem high, but it is generally less expensive and a quicker visit to the ED.
And do you need an appointment?
Do not need an appointment, you can just walk right in.
Wow, well that's awesome that it is free for a lot of people. That's really fantastic.
Well, I think I know the answer to this question, but can you describe your typical client?
Yeah, so there really isn't a typical client. We serve ages 4 and older who have varying needs, but an example would be a child in foster care placement who might be running out of their meds. We can prescribe their medication to get them to a scheduled appointment to avoid decompensation. We might see an adolescent who's just starting to exhibit mental health symptoms, and we help them to prevent a crisis episode. Or an adult who might have a longer-term mental health issue, but for varying reasons can benefit from our intervention to prevent a future hospitalization.
That's important to know. So after an individual works with your facility, what can they expect next? Or what are the next steps for them after visiting your location?
So an individual can expect to leave with a comprehensive discharge plan that includes a crisis plan and a referral or an appointment rather to a mental health provider or an appointment back with their previous mental health provider. And we assess for social determinants of health. So that could be inadequate housing or not being connected with a medical provider, which could be issues that would impede their ability to successfully engage in the referrals we made. So oftentimes an individual will leave with those community-based resources and appointments as well.
Well, that's great. So I know that like the mental health court, like the drug court, this all takes a team approach, an interdisciplinary approach with lots of partners. Can you tell us a little bit how you all work together and how the process works?
Yeah, so our team is wonderful. We are made up of quite a few different people. We have licensed clinical social workers, licensed clinical addiction specialists. We work closely with medical assistants on the nursing assessment and very closely with our psychiatric nurse practitioners and MDs that are typically available on all shifts. We also have bilingual staff to be able to serve Spanish-speaking population.
Yeah. Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome.
So efforts to improve mental health services and positively impact client outcomes requires quality supports. Is there ever a time that you feel there's a client that can be best served in another facility than your own?
Yes, unfortunately, sometimes we do see clients who come in that are either intoxicated or maybe too ill to consent for our services or really benefit from the services that we can offer. And so we do have to send them to either the emergency department or a higher level of care. Often that's Durham Recovery Response Center, because they can provide longer-term treatment and inpatient care if deemed necessary.
Great. Well, that's also good to know. It seems like you help so many people, so your first hope is that you can assist them when necessary, connect them with another resource. So we're about out of time, and you both shared great information. Can you both share with us a lasting thought for our viewers to keep in mind? Either one of you can go.
So I'll highlight that we were created as a service to fill a gap in the crisis continuum where before an individual may thought they could only go to the emergency room if they are going to go into crisis or run out of a medication. And currently I feel like we're serving that gap.
Right, and Renee, I'd love to hear from you what thoughts would you like to leave with our viewers about the mental health court and maybe what you hope people to learn about this new program?
What I want people to learn definitely is that the Mental Health Court Diversion Program is here to assist those individuals who are coming in and out of jail on an ongoing or consistent basis, and to make sure that they are connected to the treatments that are available to them in the community, so that they know that there are resources available and that they can have access to those. It's just the point of having that support to get connected to those services.
Well, thank you. And this is, we hope to have the information up on the screen for people as well, so they know how to find out more about both of these really excellent programs and resources for people in our community.
Yes, thank you again for joining us today. And Chair Jacobs, we had another great show.
We have. This has been a great opportunity to inform our citizens about some of the great programs and resources that we have in our community, and we really thank you for all that you are doing to help people who are struggling with mental health issues in Durham. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. We will continue to stay in touch with the great information that our citizens use to help improve their quality of life. Please join us next time for In Touch with Durham County.